Motorcycles or bikes as they are more commonly known have become a fashion statement as well as a mode of transport. Many consumers now opt out of buying cars for bikes as they can be easier and cheaper to maintain. In this investigation, the companies Hero Honda Motors Limited and Ducati Motors Holding are analyzed in terms of demand, supply, and elasticity. Ducati. History. Founded in 1926 by the Cavalry Ducati brothers, the company started with manufacturing radios and other electrical components. In 1935, the company was moved to Borgo Panigale, where it still currently manufactures motorcycles. After their earlier bikes became a hit, in 1954 the company was split into two different companies. One produced electronics, the other bikes. In 1988, Ducati won their first Superbike World Championship and began to become recognized as a racing company. It is still currently known as a company for its sports bikes, which have been characterized by its modern design, unique engine features, and engineering, which was created by designer Fabio Taglioni in the 1950s. Products. Ducati Motor Holdings is a world-class company that is commonly known for its production of motorcycles for competitive racing in over 60 countries with over 160 stores where Ducati has made available their numerous models such as the Superbike and Monster. One of their main competitors is Harley-Davidson, as they both produce luxurious bikes. Integration. Ducati is horizontally and vertically integrated. It shows horizontal integration as they hired Donna Karan to design biking outfits for them in order to change Ducati from a company that only focuses on transport to a company which projects a lifestyle image. In addition, it is a conglomeration because it has a partnership with Donna Karan in order to create clothes. Ducati is also vertically integrated backwards because it produces its own goods for its bikes. Statistics. In the following figure, the overall trend of gross profit is increasing. The data was limited and the author looked for more current data, however none could be found. In the following figure, the revenue of Ducati for the first half of 3 years was found. The author searched for more relevant and complete data, however none could be found. As seen from the past figures, the gross profit and revenue continues to increase even though the prices of Ducati bikes are high. The law of demand is such that as the price decreases, the quantity demanded of a good or service increases. However, there are exceptions to this law. The exceptions can all be demonstrated by the following graph, which slopes upwards. A type of exception to the law of demand is Veblen goods, which are goods that have a snob value and are bought to display wealth. Veblen goods were named after Thorsten Veblen, who was the first economist to look into the concept of seeking status through consumption. As the price of a snob good, such as the Ducati Monster, increases, then some consumers will buy more of it in order to have a wealthier appearance. Hero Honda's history. In 1984, the Munjal brothers established Hero Honda Motors Limited as a joint venture between the Hero Group of India and Honda of Japan in New Delhi, India. Honda provided the technical aspects such as the design specifications, while the Hero Group provided the world-class manufacturing facilities and provided an insight on an Indian consumer. Hero Honda is the top producer of two-wheelers since 2001, has been for 9 consecutive years. It has sold more than the second, third, and fourth two-wheeler companies put together. It could be said that this is attributed to the fact that the two companies complement one another. It is considered one of the most successful joint ventures in the world, and this is attributed to the individual companies staying to their area of knowledge. Many Indians bought the bikes because of their fuel economy and low cost. Products. Hero Honda has a range of products from their most popular bike, Splendor, with more than 1 million units sold per year, to their higher-end bike, the Charisma. The bikes are manufactured in 3 places with the headquarters in New Delhi, India. Hero Honda currently supplies motorcycles through more than 500 dealers and 700 service points, institutions, and international customers. Additionally, the company has more than 240 supplies for different materials for its parts and sub-assemblies. Integration. Hero Honda shows backwards vertical integration because it has factories and thus produces its own goods. It also shows forwards vertical integration because it owns its own retail stores. Statistics. Although there was a recent economic recession, Hero Honda's revenue, profit, and income has still increased as shown in the following figure. This is because of the law of demand, which states that the quantity demanded increases when the price of a good or service decreases, and this is shown by a downward sloping curve, as shown. There are 2 reasons for the law of demand. First of all, as a rational consumer, we are trying to maximize our utility. The quantity demanded of a good will fall if the price increases because a rational consumer can buy a close substitute for that good or service, thus known as the substitution effect. Therefore, when the price of other modes of transportation, such as cars, increased during the recession, many consumers turned toward Hero Honda, which had cheap, good quality, and fuel-efficient motorcycles for sale. The second reason for the existence of the law of demand is because of our real income. That is, if the price of a good falls, then the good forms a smaller part of our real income, and hence a rational consumer can buy more of the good. As a result of the income effect, during the recession, many people lost their jobs or salaries got cut, so they had less money available for transport. In this case, many consumers turned to Hero Honda as it was a cheap alternative. Additionally, as the company is known for its fuel efficiency, This would help a rational consumer cut costs. However, at the same time increasing Hero Honda's revenue. Ducati and Hero Honda. Market structure. Ducati and Hero Honda are operating as oligopolies, which is when only a few firms dominate an industry. In a market with oligopolies, there is interdependence, and each company must be aware of others as they can influence the market. The pricing in oligopolies tends to change much less than in more competitive markets, and even when there are production cost changes, oligopolistic firms tend to leave their prices unchanged. Supply and demand. In India, as average income has increased, citizens have a greater income and thus can afford to buy a motorcycle, and thus the demand of motorcycles has shifted out. This can be seen in the following figure, where the demand curve shifts out to create a new equilibrium. This type of shift out of the demand curve also applies to Ducati because the average world income has increased and thus people can afford to buy bikes. Normally, the price increases or decreases, changing the quantity supply and quantity demanded. However, it is also possible for the demand or supply curve to shift in or out if their determinants change. Originally, there was an equilibrium at point EQ. However, because of a change in the income, which is a determinant of demand, the demand curve can shift. For example, in India, where the average income has increased, the demand curve has shifted out from D to D1, and there is a now new equilibrium at EQ1. In this case, the invisible hand will not push the price back to EQ because a new equilibrium has been created at EQ1. And there's now a balance between quantity supplied and quantity demanded of splendors. As demand has increased, there is a shortage of splendors at P, and therefore the price increases to P1. Additionally, there is a change in the quantity supply. There is no shortage at P1 because of the new equilibrium, and the equilibrium will now remain there unless the determinants of demand or supply change again. Additionally, the supply curve can shift in or out, creating a new equilibrium if its determinants were to change. Comparative elasticity. Price elasticity of demand is the responsiveness of the quantity demanded of a good or service to a change in its price, and it can have an effect on either the quantity demanded or the total revenue. The bikes made by Hero Honda are more price elastic as shown in the following figure because they are inferior goods. Additionally, at that price and quality, there are many more substitutes available. Thus, if the price increases, then the substitution effect will play a major role in changing the quantity demanded of splendors. Bikes made by Ducati are relatively price inelastic as shown in the following figure because Ducati is a luxury brand and thus consumers would not mind paying extra even if there is an increase in the price of monsters. In the future, as the global economy continues to recover from the recession, the average income will increase, and companies such as Ducati and Hero Honda will increase their revenue. This will occur because consumers will have a greater income and can therefore spend more money, and thus there will be an increase in the demand for bikes. This increase in the demand for bikes will in return cause the revenue of bike companies such as Ducati and Hero Honda to increase.